An EC 103.1 sports presentation. Eureka College Red Devils men's and women's basketball on EC 103.1.
Brewer, corner triple, knocked down. Big shot there by Michael Brewer.
This Red Devils broadcast is made possible by City Blue Technologies in Peoria, an Epson dealer serving Central Illinois with sustainable office printing solutions. By Potter Rentals in Gilman, Illinois, owned and operated by Ernie and Barb Potter, both Eureka College class of 1965. By Heartland Bank and Trust, Randy Bigol, your State Farm agent in Peoria, Eureka College class of 1994. And by Kirby Foods in Metamora.
Austin with the dump off pass to Brown. Brown kick out, Provost three, good.
Here's a top of the key three, Webb, and that one falls through.
Now, let's go live to the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth for coverage of today's game.
We get ready for an exhibition game between the Eureka Red Devils and the McKendree Bearcats. Eureka on the road here in Lebanon, Illinois. They are looking for their first win of the season, 0-7 throughout their first 7 games. The Bearcats, it's a little different of a story. They are 4-3, 2-1 in the Great Lakes Valley Conference. So they are just over that 500 mark. This is, for Eureka, an exhibition game. But for the Division II McKendree Bearcats, this will be an official regular season game. Both teams have a lot of guards. As we take a look at this Eureka Red Devils team, they have some good news. For the first time this season, Eureka has 9 total players in attendance. That's the most they've had up to this point. The Bearcats, they, of course, a Division II program, have a lot more numbers on their team. But as we take a look at Eureka's last matchup, they lost their last one. It was a conference game at home against Westminster. The Red Devils led for more than half of that game, but the Blue Jays began the fourth quarter with a 15-2 run. That really put them in control for the rest of the ballgame. We talk about it pretty often. The biggest struggle for the Red Devils this season correlates with numbers. They only do have 11 current players on their roster. Like I said, only 9 in attendance here tonight. But they do have one senior. They're mostly junior-led, though. A lot of players are going to have to step up. One of the players that Eureka that just became eligible to play tonight is a big three-point sniper. She goes by the name of Abigail Martinez, the sophomore. She has been out last season. She was a part of this Eureka team, but she was dealing with an injury that forced her to not play last season, so she'll finally be able to get into this game tonight. As we take a look at the Bearcats, I already mentioned their record, but they dropped their most recent game to Davenport. They have been lacking board protection. That really allowed Davenport to take advantage of that game. McKendree's defense is something the Red Devils are going to have to look out for, because against Davenport, McKendree was able to force 15 turnovers in that game. That is not easy, especially at the Division II level. The last time McKendree hosted a D3 opponent was actually in November of last season. They played Blackburn, who Eureka is pretty familiar with. And of course, the Bearcats beat Blackburn 110-16. That score was outstanding. One of the offensive leaders for the Bearcats coming into this game is junior Bailey Parks. She comes in averaging 12.5 points per game. Parks has been a very strong interior presence for this team all season long, and she recently won the Female Bearcat of the Week just 2 days ago. In this last 7 days, she has had 15 points, 6 rebounds, 3 steals, 1 block, and to add on to that, she has been shooting 37.5% from the field. Of course, Eureka has their stars. We already know about Alyssa Taylor and Sierra Garcia-Reich. I did recently have the opportunity to sit down with both of them and interview them about their season and how they believe things are going so far. We'll be able to talk a little bit more about them and their thoughts later in this broadcast. But as we take a look at the series history, this will be the 16th meeting between these two programs. McKendree leads the all-time series 8-7, just again over that 500 mark. The most recent matchup between Eureka and McKendree took place during the 1995-1996 season. Eureka did win that on the road, 60-44 the final score. That was actually a game that counted for both schools. I do understand for those who might be a little curious, Eureka and McKendree did play last season, but it was a similar situation. It did not count for Eureka. It was just an exhibition game. For McKendree, it did count. But that is all we have for you in the pregame side of things. We are going to take a break as we get ready for the national anthem. Again, it will be the Eureka Red Devils on the road, 0-7, taking on the McKendree Bearcats, hosting the Red Devils at 4-3. Stay tuned for upcoming first quarter coverage. You're listening to EC 103.1, live from the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth.
Eureka College basketball is made possible by Randy Begole, a State Farm agent in Peoria. Randy graduated from Eureka College in 1994. He played basketball and tennis and was also a member of the TKE fraternity. Randy has been serving State Farm customers since 2001. His office is located at the corner of Knoxville and Forest Hill in Peoria. You can reach him at 309-322-8150 or at randybegole.com. That's Randy, BEGOLE.com.
Eureka College basketball is made possible by Heartland Bank and Trust, serving 48 communities throughout Illinois and eastern Iowa, including Washington, Metamora, El Paso, Germantown Hills, Carlock, and in Eureka. Their main branch is on Main Street downtown, and their drive-up and ATM is nearby on Center Street. And find Heartland Bank and Trust anywhere at htmbank.com.
Looking to rep your Red Devils pride? Swing by the Red Devil Depot, Eureka College's one-stop shop for all things maroon and gold. Located inside the Surf Center on South Burgess Street, they are open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Grab hats, hoodies, t-shirts, and more, including exclusive EC 103.1 gear. That's right, EC 103.1 hoodies and tees are in stock and ready to rock. Don't miss out on the freshest campus merch. This is Eureka. This is Red Devils Nation.
And now we'll send it over for the starting lineups. So there you have it, the starting lineups for both sides. If you were unable to hear, for Eureka, it'll be Miracle Armstrong, Alyssa Taylor, Raylan Brown, Sierra Garcia-Reich, and Brooklyn Bowman. For the Bearcats, it'll be Chloe White, Tessa Crawford, Emma Slings, Madison Johnson, and last but not least, Kira Taylor. So both Starting 5 for each side down on the floor. It looks like, not sure who will be getting the tip-off yet. Both sides still waiting. Again, Red Devils 0-7, looking for their first win of the season. McKendree 4-3 overall. And in the center, it'll be Sierra Garcia-Reich for Eureka, and it looks like Kira Taylor for the Bearcats. So here we go, underway, and this one will immediately start with the Red Devils. Armstrong picking it up. Armstrong crosses half court. Red Devils, again, as I mentioned, they don't have a lot of numbers, so it's a little easier for them to get tired. Right wing, it's Bowman, heavily guarded by Taylor. She's going to pass at top of the key, Reich. Red Devils wearing their black uniforms, McKendree wearing white. Here is Taylor, Alyssa Taylor, 2 on the shot clock. Armstrong, deep 3, wide right, loose ball, and this one will be grabbed by Johnson. So McKendree with their first chance on offense here tonight, really pushing the pace down the floor. Here's a bounce pass to Taylor. Here's a 3, and that one too strong from Tessa Crawford. Offensive board picked up by the Bearcats. Here's Bowman, right wing, bounce pass into the paint, and it's taken away by Eureka. Sierra Garcia-Reich over to Armstrong. Red Devils really pushing the pace. Armstrong thought about the triple. Instead, Eureka will reset here. Here's Reich, again, back to Armstrong, standing right over that Bearcats logo, just across half court. 8 on the shot clock. Armstrong, bounce pass to Brown. She's going to have to shoot it. 2 on the shot clock. Late pass, and that will be a shot clock violation against the Red Devils, and this will go over to the Bearcats. So the Red Devils turn it over in the first minute and a half of this ball game. That's twice now, Eureka. I don't feel as if they've really been aware of the shot clock. They previously almost lost a possession on that last drive. Here's Bowman in the paint, left hand, and good. She gets the first 2 points for either side here tonight. Excuse me, that was Kira Taylor with the bucket. Here's Alyssa Taylor for Eureka. She is heavily guarded by Chloe White. Left wing, she is double guarded, in trouble, gets it into the hands of Bowman, and it'll go out of bounds right in front of our equipment. And it'll be Bearcats possession. 8:20 left to play. Bearcats lead it 2-0. You're listening to EC 103.1. Live from the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth. Matthew Swan on the call. Right hand from Crawford, no good. It'll go out of bounds, and Eureka again regains possession here. So a lot of back and forth, but not much to show for it. McKendree only up by 2. Red Devils struggling a little bit to drive to the basket. They've been forced to take a lot of tricky shots early on. That one's taken away. Loose ball, fighting for it. White comes up with it. Crawford across half court, stops her feet, passes into the hands of Johnson. And Bearcats will reset here. 19 on the shot clock. Crawford, right wing. Here's a triple from Slings, and she knocks it down. That'll put the Bearcats up by 5 as Slings picks up her first few points of the night. Again, Red Devils really struggling right now. That one's taken away by White. Alyssa Taylor guarding her. The layup is too strong. Offensive board by the Bearcats. No good on the shot attempt from Taylor, but she is fouled, so she'll get sent to the line here. Eureka College Red Devils basketball is made possible by City Blue Technologies of Peoria, an Epson distributor serving Central Illinois. City Blue offers Epson Precision Core heat-free printing as an alternative to laser printers. City Blue was founded in 1968 and serves more than 5,000 active customers. Learn about sustainable printing solutions from City Blue Technologies at citybluetechnologies.com. So Taylor able to knock down both free throws. That puts McKendree up by 7. Red Devils struggling to drive to the basket here. It'll be Miracle Armstrong. Gets it into the hands of Bowman. She's in trouble. Her feet are stuck. Gets it to Reich. Now Alyssa Taylor to her right. Raylan Brown outside Bowman, right wing in that corner. Back to Brown in trouble. Passes it, and it's taken away by Emma Slings. Another turnover by this Eureka offense. White thought about the triple instead. Bounce pass in the paint. Put up and good for Taylor Fohe. And the foul. So the Bearcats again, that was Taylor Fohe for the Bearcats. So she gets her first couple of points. Tonight she'll try to extend and make it a 3-point play, and she is successful. That puts the Bearcats up by 10. Again, it'll be Armstrong taking it up the floor. Armstrong was on the roster for Eureka last season. She didn't get a lot of playing time. Here's another turnover. This time Tessa Crawford to the basket with the right hand. 12-0 McKendree. A little bit of a full court press from Tessa Crawford after making the bucket. Red Devils struggling to control the basketball right now. Alyssa Taylor nearly losing it a couple of times right there. Here's Garcia Reich, top of the key triple, too strong. And again, picking up the offensive board, Chloe White. And here's Slings up the floor. Right wing bounce pass in the paint, spinning, putting it up and no good from Fohe. Reich picking up the rebound. She's pushing the pace up the floor. And the bounce pass will be deflected off of Fohe's leg. So it'll stick with Eureka. 5:32 left to play here in this first quarter. Red Devils trail by 12. So it's going to be Brooklyn Bowman to inbound. Red Devils are really just struggling to get the ball as that was immediately deflected out of bounds by, Tessa Crawford. A Eureka team that is really struggling. We talked so much. They have lost a lot of great players from last season. A lot of their main stars. Here's a bounce pass to Reich, and it's a loose ball. Fighting for it, Reich and Fohe. And this will go in possession of the Bearcats. Once again, another Eureka turnover. So Red Devils just piling up on the turnovers. Already 6, and we're not even through the first quarter. Bearcats with the basketball into the hands of Johnson. Bounce past Fohe. Here's Crawford pushing the paint and up and good. That'll make it 14-0 as Tessa Crawford adds to her point total. Reich over to Alyssa Taylor. She goes for the triple. That one just short. Rebound taken away by Johnson. Again, very quick on the offensive side. The triple there from Slings, no good. Here's Moeller, bounce pass. Fohe. Now Johnson kicks it out. Bounce pass in the paint. Fohe with the left hand and good. 16-0 for the Bearcats. Just under 4.5 left to play in this first quarter. Armstrong went up and got fouled on the other end. But I do not believe that will be a shooting foul. And there's going to be a timeout taken for the Red Devils. They are down by 16, just under 4.5 left to go. McKendree has really led the way from the start of the game. Chloe White has been a huge key on defense, taking away a couple different chances for Eureka so far, but in terms of offense, it has been Taylor Fohe for the Bearcats, who leads the team right now with 5 points, 5 out of the 16. Well, we take a look at the Great Lakes Valley standings for the Bearcats, which this actually pretty interesting to me. Unlike the SLIAC standings for Eureka, where there's only 9 teams, the GLVC has 15 teams in the conference. A lot of teams. That makes it a little more competitive. McKendree right now sits at 5th in the conference, 4-3 overall. Again, 2-1 in the Great Lakes Valley Conference. Of course, this is a non-conference matchup, an exhibition game for Eureka. This is going to be a regular season game for the Bearcats, though, so this will count on their schedule. And for both sides, this is actually the last game I should say for the Red Devils, it's the last road game before they head to break. They do play on Thursday at home against Cornell, but this is the last game for McKendree until they get to go on break. I did mention in the pregame, both teams have a lot of guards on their team, and you can really see them stand out. McKendree already back out on the court. Eureka taking their time. It's Isaiah Pace really breaking things down for Eureka. Referee in front of the scores table clapping her hands saying, let's go, we have a game to play. So we return to the game again. You're listening to EC 103.1 live from the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth. Matthew Swan here on the call. Bearcats lead at 16-0. Just under 4.5 left to go in this first quarter. Red Devils start with the basketball. It's tipped out by Tessa Crawford. It'll stick with Eureka. We do see for the Red Devils Abigail Martinez in this ballgame. We mentioned her in the pregame. This is the first time all season she is getting some minutes on the floor. But for now, it's Armstrong. Right wing shifts over to top of the key. Uses that right hand off the glass. No good. Crawford with the board. And a foul after the loose ball, and it'll be Bearcats basketball. Coming into the game for the Bearcats is Morgan File. She'll inbound over to Emma Slings. Slings, long pass to Crawford. Back to Slings. Ball movement in this first quarter has been very great for the Bearcats. Crawford, top of the key, guarded by Armstrong. Bounce pass. File in the paint, spinning off the glass, no good. Board taken away by Courtney Hart as she picks up her first rebound of the night. Red Devils now on offense, looking to get their first couple of points of the night. Another right hand from Armstrong, no good on the 360. Bearcats pushing the pace. Slings in the paint, kicks it out. Crawford thought about the deep two. Instead, she finds the open Morgan File, who picks up another 2 points, make it 18-0 Bearcats here in the first quarter. Under 3.5 left to play. Again, for anybody listening, McKendree is a Division II school. Eureka, of course, Division III. So this is a very competitive game for the Red Devils. We mentioned it's an exhibition game for them, so this is really just meant for them to test themselves. It's a challenge for Eureka. They don't usually play a lot of Division II schools. We know that the Red Devils were scheduled to play Indiana State earlier in the year. That game did get canceled due to weather conditions, and of course, because of its non-conference ability, that will not be rescheduled. Red Devils 18 on the shot clock. Here's Armstrong. Gonna have to get rid of it. Brown goes for the triple, short off the glass. Rebound picked up by File. And now it'll be Moeller. Here's a triple. A little too strong. Another board on offense picked up by the Bearcats. Crawford, top of the key. She resets for a minute. Pushes forward. Loose ball taken away by Hart. That was a really good move. Nearly stripped there from File. Red Devils are going to have to reset here, take their time. Raylan Brown, left wing. Passes top of the key. Miracle Armstrong. Very nifty player. Here's Martinez. Kicks it out. Brown. Shifting right. Heavily guarded. Into the hands of Kenna Newton. Here's Armstrong. Pump fake. Good move. Puts up the shot and good. A two-pointer for Miracle Armstrong. Red Devils finally break into the scoring column. 18-2. And now the Bearcats will look to respond. And it's File fighting through traffic up the lane. Another 2 points. It is now 20-2 Bearcats. 2 minutes left to go here in this first quarter. So now File in this ballgame. 4 points to her account already. Only about 2 minutes in this game, and she already has 4 points. Here's a steal from Moeller using that right hand. And the rim being very gracious to her. Another 2 for the Bearcats. Here's Martinez up the floor. This defense from the Bearcats has been very aggressive some might say a little too aggressive. They are full court pressing, even though they're up by 20 points right now. And there is a foul. We'll see some substitutions here for the Bearcats. It'll be Olivia Corson coming into this ball game, along with JC Privia. So Red Devils stick with the basketball. Hart in the paint using all of her size, putting it up with the right hand. No good. Kicked out of bounds. And I thought that was off of the hands of Privia. I guess they said Hart was the last to touch it, so it'll go back to McKendree. And now it's Hannah Fenton taking it up the floor, right wing. Now top of the key, bounce pass. Again, here's File in the paint, and she's going to get called. Courtney Hart getting a little too handsy, gets called for the foul. So clock stops at 1:08. Again, Bearcats 22, Red Devils 2. Fenton, the freshman out of St. Louis, Missouri, looking to inbound. Deep pass into the hands of Privia. She stands at the right wing, 15 on the shot clock. Here's a triple from Fenton, and she finds nothing but net as she picks up her first few points of the evening. That extends the Bearcats' lead, 25 points for them here in this first quarter. Under a minute left to go. Miracle Armstrong again being heavily guarded by Kylie Moeller. She's going to have to get rid of it, and she does. Loose ball taken away by the Bearcats. Here's Fenton up the floor, and an open look for Moeller. Another two. And they are just 3 points away from achieving 30 points just in this first quarter. A very strong powerhouse of a team. Bounce pass into the hands of Newton for the Red Devils. Armstrong gets it over to Hart. Left wing. Here's a triple from Brown. A bit too strong. Rebound picked up by Morgan File as she takes it up the floor looking for an open lane. Stops her feet. Uses the backboard. No good. Hart with the rebound. And that will end things here in this first quarter. So the Bearcats 27, Eureka 2, the only two accounted by Miracle Armstrong. It looks like we're going to keep things here, though. So again, for the Bearcats, a lot of players, it seems like almost every single player they have put in has been able to get into the scoring column. Not quite, but almost every player. And still, as we mentioned earlier, it has been Taylor Fohe leading the team right now in points with 5. But obviously they've been a very strong offensive team, but it's hard for Eureka because, like we mentioned in the pregame, they don't have numbers, so they don't have a lot of time for their starters to rest. Obviously, some of their big stars like Armstrong, Alyssa Taylor, Sierra Garcia-Reich, you have a very limited roster size, and that doesn't help, especially coming into this game. We knew it was going to be a little more competitive. A Division III school like Eureka coming in on the road, might I add, to take on a D2 school. This is really just practice for the Red Devils, just trying to condition themselves. Again, they've only played 2 games in the conference so far, so they still have yet to really break out in the SLIAC. And those only 2 games have come against Blackburn and Westminster. Red Devils, of course, lost both of those games. But for Eureka, they do play, as mentioned, on Thursday, a home game against Cornell College. That'll be another non-conference game for the Red Devils. But 10 minutes back on the clock. Looks like we're about to get started once again, and it'll be McKendree to kick things off with the basketball. Here's Fenton. And a kick out. Red Devils going to have to pick up their defense here. Privia thought about the triple, pushes up to the rim, and the right hand from Johnson, no good. Courtney Hart fighting for the board, and we're going to get a foul call. And I believe this one will go back to Eureka. So it's going to be Raylan Brown once again inbounding over to Armstrong. Another full court press by Dixie Ottenschneider. Armstrong constantly stopping, moving her feet, kicks it out. Armstrong again, top of the key. Uses that Courtney Hart's screen, nearly loses the basketball. She's double teamed and she's going to get fouled and hits the floor. Again, this is that defense that we're talking about from the Bearcats. They have just been all over these Red Devils, not really giving them any breathing room. And it looks like Sierra Garcia-Rice will come in for Miracle Armstrong. 9:20 on the game clock for Eureka. Here's Bowman inbounding. Looking for Alyssa Taylor, finds her with the bounce pass. Courtney Hart was waiting for the pass, and it's deflected off of her hand and out of bounds. Another turnover for Eureka. 9:14 left to play. Bearcats 27, Red Devils 2. It'll be Bearcats basketball. Bounce pass over to Taylor in the paint. Kicks it out, deflected by Alyssa Taylor, but it'll stick with McKendree. Here's a triple left wing and knocked down by Malia Sparks, the junior out of Belleville, Illinois. And McKendree does reach 30 points, just a little over one full quarter. Here's Courtney Hart. Nice pass to Reich in that left wing, right in the corner. Good look to Courtney Hart in the paint, and she kicks it out. She had a good look. 6 on the shot clock, and Alyssa Taylor, waiting to receive the ball again, hits the floor. This will stick with Eureka. So it'll be Denisha Oliver for the Red Devils coming in for Courtney Hart. Hart will have a few minutes to rest up. This is the good thing for Eureka, though. We mentioned so much about their limited number size, but again, in terms of good news, they do have 9 total players in attendance. That's the first time they've been able to say that all season long, so they are able to substitute a lot more frequently. And here it'll be another shot clock violation again. And that'll be their 11th turnover of the night. McKendree taking no time to rest, immediately getting the ball back in. Sparks finds Fenton with the triple, too strong. Sparks with the offensive board, loose ball. And it's going to be Raylan Brown now passing it over to Reich, taking it up the floor. Again, another full court press by Sparks. Raylan Brown finds Oliver. Deep pass, nearly taken away, loose ball once again, and recovered by Bowman. 16 on the shot clock. Reich finds Alyssa Taylor. Oliver picks up her dribble. Gonna have to get rid of it, and the pass out of bounds. Oliver visibly frustrated with herself. So just under 8 minutes left to go in this first half. McKendree 30, Eureka 2, and it's Bearcats basketball. Sparks finds an open Taylor in the paint, and that was too easy for Kira Taylor. Another 2 points. Red Devils trailing by 30. Here's Reich with the right hand, too strong. Another rebound picked up by Privia. Here's Fenton stopping her feet, gets it over to Muller. And that will be a travel. Good call there by Red Devils head coach Isaiah Pace. He picked it up immediately. So it'll be Abigail Martinez coming in for Denisha Oliver. Red Devils only 2 points up to this point, and that was on account of Miracle Armstrong, the sophomore out of Chicago, Illinois. Red Devils have just been struggling to really get anything working offensively. So it'll be Armstrong taking it up the floor. Again, we talked about Armstrong and her inability to appear in any games last season. She's a sophomore now. She appeared in 22 games in her senior year of high school at Wendell Phillips. That was a season in which the Wildcats went 19-14 overall, 7-1 in the conference. That resulted in the Wildcats placing second behind Kentwood. Of course, this is a different story. Armstrong used to a lot of success coming in for Eureka, though, who are 0-7 throughout their first 7 games of the season. Here's Reich with the mid-range, no good. Rebound taken away by Muller. Bearcats again pushing the pace. Privia in the paint and uses that right hand over Brooklyn Bowman for the 2 points. 34-2 Bearcats lead it. It'll be Reich taking it up the floor. And that one's taken away by Hannah Fenton with the right hand and good. So Alyssa Taylor was kind of receiving some information from head coach Isaiah Pace down on the sideline, and she looked up and it was stolen. And this one's also taken away. Another turnover against Eureka. This time Moeller using the right hand and the backboard for the 2 points. Abigail Martinez could not defend. Looks like Raylan Brown will get ready to substitute back into this ball game. Martinez thought about the triple. Backdoor cut from Reich, no good. The pass was deflected by the Bearcats. Here's Fenton up the floor. Kicks it out. Here's a triple. No good. A travel against Olivia Corson. So that will be only the third turnover for the Bearcats up to this point. Of course, that is compared to Eureka's that was their 5th turnover for the Bearcats compared to Eureka's 15 turnovers. Red Devils still only 2 points, just under 6 minutes left to go in quarter number 2. Here's Alyssa Taylor. Bounce pass taken away by Kylie Moeller. And she finds the open Corson using the right hand over Martinez. No good. Loose ball taken away by Corson. Inside the paint. Right hand, no good from Privia. And that one is put up by Taylor. So several offensive boards for the Bearcats, and it works out in their favor. 40 points for McKendree. Bowman in trouble, loose ball, and she's just going to lay on top of it, and that'll stop the clock at 5:05. It'll be McKendree basketball. So it looks like the Red Devils will switch up their defensive positioning here. Here's Corson. Right wing, guarded by Alyssa Taylor. Pass is deflected. Sticks with McKendree, and an open lane for Taylor Fohe. This time using the left hand, her non-dominant hand, for the 2 points. Red Devils trail by 40. Armstrong now. Martinez, deep three, just short. It was on target. Just needed a little more height on the shot attempt. Here's Fenton taking it up the floor. Bounce pass to Fohe in the paint. Spinning left and right and using the glass for the 2 points. Taylor Fohe continuing to add to her point total. She now has 7 points in this game. Again, Red Devils not able to knock down any points on that drive. Fenton kicks it over to Corson, back to Fenton. And that one will go out of bounds off of Corson. She tried to drive baseline, but loses the basketball instead. So another timeout will be taken here. 4 minutes, 4 seconds left to go in this second quarter. Bearcats 44, Red Devils 2. Not the start they were hoping for, but again, coming into this game, they knew it was going to be a little bit of a struggle coming in against a Division II program. We mentioned some of the stars for Eureka, 2 of their main returners, Alyssa Taylor, Sierra Garcia Reich. More on Alyssa Taylor. She did have, against Westminster, that was Eureka's most recent game, 17 points. She led the team, but I do feel as if one player for Eureka we've been mentioning quite frequently has been Miracle Armstrong. She, I feel like, hasn't gotten a lot of credit to her name, and I'm about to give her that credit because in that conference game, she put up 13 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. And, of course, it's not really easy. Even, it's a little easier to stand out when you already have a very limited number of players on your roster, but it's still not easy to come in, especially against one of the top conference teams from last season and be able to put up those kinds of numbers. Looks like McKendree back out onto the floor. Red Devils making their way onto the court. Again, 4 minutes, 4 seconds left to go in the second quarter. Bearcats 44, Eureka 2, and you're listening to EC 103.1, live from the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth. Matthew Swan bringing you tonight's coverage. So Eureka will start with the basketball. Alyssa Taylor up the floor. There's that full court pressure once again. And now it's in the hands of Armstrong. She flips it over to Raylan Brown. She's in trouble. Bounce pass Taylor. Kicks it out. Brown goes for the triple. Too strong. Offensive board taken away by Kenna Newton. That's new. Red Devils haven't been able to do that. But Bearcats come up with a steal. Here's Fenton taking it herself. Left hand. And knocks down the layup. 46 points for the Bearcats. So Taylor slows things down. Standing left wing, finds an open lane, puts it up with the left hand, and good. That is only the second basket for the Red Devils, and we are approaching the 3-minute mark here in quarter number 2. Right hand from Fohe is good, so an exchange of mid-range shots between the Red Devils and the Bearcats. 48-4, McKendree leads it. Armstrong top of the key, she's double guarded. And now it looks like she's going to have to get rid of it. Alyssa Taylor, left wing, thought about the triple, tried to go up for the shot. Instead, that one is stripped away. Sparks up the floor, stopping, resetting, and it's Fohe, another open lane right past Alyssa Taylor for the 2 points. So here's Raylan Brown again. Bearcats lead it 50-4. Alyssa Taylor, top of the key. Brown goes for the shot, just off target. She had a good look, and again, Bearcats up the floor. Fenton finding an open Sparks, who loses it. And now it'll be Kenna Newton for Eureka running into Hannah Fenton for the Bearcats, and the clock will stop at 2:10. It'll remain Red Devils basketball. So it'll be Armstrong taking it up the floor. Getting some direction from head coach Isaiah Pace. Again, there's that double team. Alyssa Taylor thought about the triple, passes to the intended Raylan Brown. It is taken away. Bearcats, here's Fenton in the paint, right hand, and again, the rim really helping out. 52-4, Bearcats up. 1:45 left to go in this first half. Taylor with the bounce pass, tried to find Courtney Hart in the paint, and again it's taken away. So it's going to be the Bearcats here with another opportunity on offense. Pump fake kicked out. Here's a triple, and that is too strong from Olivia Corson. And again, Isaiah Pace for Eureka taking a timeout. Clock stops at 1:19. Bearcats 52, Red Devils only 4. Eureka College basketball is made possible by Potter Rentals of Gilman, Illinois. Owned and operated by Ernie and Barb Folkers Potter, both Eureka College class 1965. Potter Rentals offers both residential and commercial property rentals, including vacation rentals in beautiful Prescott, Arizona. You can get more information on their website at potterrentals.com. So the 30-second timeout is over. Both teams still in their huddle. Bearcats 52, Red Devils 4. Only 1:19 left to go in the second quarter. So it has been Miracle Armstrong and Alyssa Taylor for Eureka, obtaining the only 2 buckets for the team all night up to this point. And for the Bearcats, I mentioned it earlier, but almost every single player but 2 has been able to get into the scoring column. That is all the players who have made an appearance tonight. So Armstrong picking up the pace. Pass kicked by Hannah Fenton, and it'll go out of bounds against her. It'll stick with the Red Devils. Taylor to inbound over to Armstrong. 18 on the shot clock. Taylor with the triple, and she knocks it down. Alyssa Taylor connecting for the first Red Devils 3 of the night, and she's up to 5 points. Bearcats looking to return the favor, and they thought about the triple. Here is Corson with the 3, rattling in and out. Courtney Hart unable to pick up the board. Here's a mid-range, and that'll fall through from Taylor Fohe. So Fohe now 11 points in this ball game. That now puts her in the lead for McKendree in this matchup. Here's Hart with the mid-range. That falls through. And it looks like coming out of that timeout, we are looking at a different Red Devils offense. 9 points for the Eureka Red Devils. Here's a triple from Fohi, no good. Offensive board, Kosten putting it back up and knocking it down. So the offensive boards have really been helping out McKendree. 1 on the shot clock, and the Red Devils are not going to be able to get out one last shot. So we approach the end of the first half. McKendree 56, Eureka 9. Again, as mentioned, for the Bearcats, it is J.C. Privia leading the team with 10 points. Eureka, of course, Alyssa Taylor, one of their star players. Alyssa Taylor has really stepped up this season, but that is all we have for the first half aspect of coverage. Again, McKendree 56, Red Devils 9. Eureka going to look to change things on offense coming into the second half, just as they did coming back in from that most recent timeout. But for now, we're going to take a break. Stay tuned for the third quarter coming up. Again, right here on EC 103.1, live from the City Blue
Eureka
Technologies
College basketball
broadcast
is made possible by Potter Rentals of Gilman, Illinois. Owned and operated by Ernie and Barb Folkers Potter, both Eureka College class 1965. Potter Rentals offers both residential and commercial property rentals, including vacation rentals in beautiful Prescott, Arizona. You can get more information on their website at potterrentals.com.
Eureka College basketball is made possible by City Blue Technologies of Peoria, an Epson distributor serving Central Illinois. City Blue offers Epson Precision Core heat-free printing as an alternative to laser printers. City Blue was founded in 1968 and serves more than 5,000 active customers. Learn more about sustainable printing solutions from City Blue Technologies at citybluetechnologies.com.
Eureka College basketball is made possible by Metamora Kirby Foods. They are 100% employee-owned, with a deli, produce section, and meat department with its own in-house butcher. Metamora Kirby Foods is open from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m., 7 days a week. They are located on West Mount Vernon Street in Metamora. Get more information at kirbyfoods.com.
Eureka College basketball is made possible by Heartland Bank and Trust, serving 48 communities throughout Illinois and eastern Iowa, including Washington, Metamora, El Paso, Germantown Hills, Carlock, and in Eureka. Their main branch is on Main Street downtown, and their drive-up and ATM is nearby on Center Street. And find Heartland Bank and Trust anywhere at htmbank.com.
The Best of Our Knowledge explores topics on learning, education, and research. Coming up, the Rapa Nui peoples of Easter Island have sculpted statues known as moai for centuries. These statues are likely familiar to you. Giant stone heads with prominent, figurative, facial features. We will learn all about how the moai statues were transported by the Rapa Nui on the island to their places of display. You're listening to The Best of Our Knowledge. I'm Madeline Reynolds. On Easter Island, off the coast of Chile in South America, there is a stone quarry that was once a volcano. The Rapa Nui used the volcanic material to make their famous Easter Island statues. the Moai. The Moai are huge, and they are known around the world for their elongated heads and stoic expressions. They were made by the Rapa Nui to honor their ancestors. Have you ever wondered how the Moai were transferred from where they were created to where they are displayed? Well, surprisingly, they walked. At least that is what the Rapa Nui say and said to European colonizers. Even though the statues don't have legs and are, well, statues. From the quarry, the Rapa Nui used a method of transportation that made the Moai appear as if they were walking. I spoke with Carl Lippo, a professor of anthropology at Binghamton University, to learn more.
Yeah, Moai are large monumental statues carved by people who lived on Rapa Nui in the past, prior to European arrival in 1722. They're staggeringly large. It's really hard to convey the magnitude of these things because you see photos of them and you can imagine statues, people size or double people size, but they range from several meters tall to nearly 10 meters tall. That's 30 feet tall, which is the size of a 3-story building. So if you imagine a stone statue 3 stories tall, you get a better picture of what the magnitude of these figures. They're carved from a stone that comes from a particular quarry. Well, most of them carved from a particular quarry called Rano Raraku, which is a volcanic crater located in sort of the southeast corner of the island. It's made out of a compressed volcanic ash, a tuff, which formed from a volcano that erupted long before people got there. The ash settled around the crater and then got compressed over time and became the source of where the statues are carved from. It's not a particularly hard rock. If you can imagine it more like a sandstone, if you've sort of had such a sandstone. So it's not, people carved these things with other stone tools made of slightly harder material. So it is an inconceivably hard material, but it's done on such a magnitude and scale that it's really an impressive feat for carving them. The challenge, of course, is carving them is one thing, which took, a lot of time, but then they had to move them from the quarry to the places that they wanted to bring them to, which are platforms called ahu, which are located all around the island, a lot of them along the coast, but some in the inland.
So you kind of talked about the Rapa Nui peoples. Before we really get into the nitty-gritty of your research, I kind of wanted to ask a little bit about them. So, why did they create these Moai statues? What was their culture like in those times as well?
That's a great question. One of the challenges, of course, we don't specifically know. The Rapa Nui people still live on the island today, and if you go to the island and visit it, you'll talk to Rapa Nui people, the descendants of people who carved the statues. Their culture was deeply impacted by the arrival of Europeans through disease and all kinds of other terrible things. There are oral traditions that connect with the statues, but it's sort of piecemeal because there's a lot of information lost. And unfortunately, a lot of the Europeans that were there early on didn't really ask enough questions that record these things down. So there's a lot of this sort of piecing things together. But we do know a number of things. We do know that the statues, and this is because we see this elsewhere across Polynesia, the statues represent ancestors, that they're carved and placed in areas of honor as ancestors that look on the community and sort of look over the community's future and its well-being. This is a tradition that actually we see elsewhere in Polynesia. They take different forms in East Polynesia. We see them as tiki in, say, Hawaii and the Tahiti. They're often made of wood, but they're also stone versions of these that we find some of the islands in Hawaii, in the Austral Islands, etc. So it's a Polynesian tradition. So it's part of the Polynesian culture that Rapa Nui people brought to the island because they're descendants of other Polynesians. So it's definitely related to ancestor honorific. It's possible each of them have names. So if you talk to people today, they'll know the names of each of them. So it's thought that they potentially represent particular ancestors, so that to honor a particular person, but we don't quite know because it's a bit of lost information. But they do have names. They're not all the same carved. I mean, you'll see photos of the images of them, and they have a lot of similarities in terms of the shape of the face and the mouth and the ears, but each one is slightly different from each other. So there's some personality to them, which reflects either the carving artistry or the individuals that they're trying to represent.
You're listening to the best of our knowledge. I'm Madeline Reynolds. If you're just joining us, we're learning all about the Moai statues on Easter Island and how they were transported with Carl Lippo, a professor of anthropology at Binghamton University, to learn more. So, you have spent a long time researching the Moai and the Easter Island, and you've even co-written a book. So, you know, this new research, what was that specifically about, and how did you conduct your study on it?
Well, this research goes back a long ways. We initially avoided wanting to look at transport of the statues themselves. You know, we were really interested in understanding all the other things that go into statue construction. In other words, there's a lot of speculation, a lot of stories about statue, how they're moving, the technology there. But we thought, well, let's just focus on the community. What was the community doing? Like, what are they doing around the statues? Like, what are they eating? Where are they eating? Where are they growing food? What's the industry, sort of the tools that they're creating in order their survival, their cooking practices, et cetera. So we really understand sort of the Moai in the context of the community, because it's clearly a community effort. You can't make one by yourself, right? You need other people to do it. So their community has to be embedded in that community structure. But as we were doing the surveys that we were doing to understand that, we kept encountering statues. And we started noting that, well, the statues that we find that aren't at the quarry and aren't at the platforms where they ended up, often have a lot of features that were very distinctive. And we found that these statues that were in between the quarry and their platforms had very different features than those locations, and that those features we thought might be telling us about transport. So we sort of stumbled into this idea, this observation that the statues themselves have information about the transport. One of our colleagues, Sergio Rapu, actually said something interesting to us that really triggered us to sort of rethink how we were imagining the study of statue transport. He said, which is true, that Rapa Nui carvers were incredibly talented, which you can really see. They can carve amazing things, you know, these giant figures. They could carve anything they wanted to. They could have carved things with tails and wings and hats and all kinds of stuff. But they had to get it from point A to point B. They had to carve them in such a way to transport them from the place that they started to the place they ended up. So you know, whatever they were doing, especially in the ones that were in between, were telling us about the decisions that people made to get them from the quarry to the platforms. So as we started doing that, we started thinking, well, what are these features telling us? What we saw was the statues had an immense forward lean. This was sort of a really interesting challenge. Statues at the platform stand upright because they're meant to be standing there looking at the community. The statues, though, before they get to the platform, were leaning forward in such a way that they wouldn't stand up on their own. And it doesn't make sense. Why would you carve something that couldn't stand up if your goal is to get it to a place to have it stand up, right? So it really puzzled us. Like, well, why would you do that? Like, why is this thing leaning forward and it would fall over? That led us into this understanding, well, maybe this is tied to transport. We started systematically looking at all the features that might be related to transport. And, you know, with the idea of like, what is this telling us? And through the observations of the way they're broken on the landscape, the way they fell, in the fracturing patterns and this forward lean and other shaped factors, we realized that the only way they could have gotten to that state as we see them across the landscape is that they fell from a standing position, and that upright transport was part of getting them from point A to point B. Now, this isn't, in one way, it's sort of wild. Like, why would anyone move a gigantic 3-story stone thing in a standing position? And and many people have said, that's impossible. You could never do it. But in fact, we do it all the time. You know, if we're moving a refrigerator from one side of the kitchen to the other, you don't lay it on its back and then shuffle it on a wheels over. You know, you rock it and shuffle it. You could shovel, a 600-pound refrigerator across your kitchen, sort of in this standing position. That's exactly what it looks like people were moving Moai were doing. The difference is that they carve them in such a way to maximize the ability to do that they use the standing position as a sort of engine to get it moving from place to place.
Some people won't give you the real talk on drugs, but it's time we know the facts. Fentanyl is killing people. It's a powerful opioid, often made illegally and commonly mixed with illicit drugs. It can even be pressed into counterfeit pills that resemble prescription medications. Just 2 milligrams, about the size of a few grains of sand, could potentially be lethal. This isn't an ad to scare you, but it is an ad to make you think twice. Get the facts. Go to realdealonfentanyl.com. This message is brought to you by the Ad Council.
We welcome you back into the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth. You are listening to EC 103.1. Matthew Swan bringing you tonight's coverage as we get ready to start quarter number 3. The Bearcats have led the entire way, currently up 56-9. The Red Devils, specifically in that first quarter, they were only able to put up one basket. That came on account of Miracle Armstrong. The second quarter, they've taken a few timeouts. That's really allowed them to reset here and kind of go with the flow a little bit, figure out what's working for them. They really began to step up a little bit more. We've seen a bucket from, actually a few buckets from Alyssa Taylor. She now has 5 points in this game. Obviously the mid-range and then the first three-pointer for Eureka of the night. I will say, we've already talked about the roster size for the Red Devils, but even coming out of their halftime break, they still look a little tired, which is expected, but again, it's just an exhibition game for the Red Devils, but they begin play Eureka with the basketball. It's Alyssa Taylor, again, who right now leads the team in points. Taylor, one of those players we've talked about. I did say I had the chance to sit down with her and kind of discuss this season, the reflection of last season as well. We'll talk about that in just a second. Here's Raylan Brown with the triple wide right, and it'll go out of bounds. But one of the things that Alyssa Taylor has said, especially coming into this season, I've asked her what's been the most challenging part of this season so far and how are you working through it. And one of the things she told me is that the challenge is getting everybody on the same page for Eureka. We hit some bumps, but we're getting there and getting everybody to understand and listen to our coach. The way I work through it is through God and talking about it with my family. That is what Alyssa Taylor has said. And keep in mind, the Red Devils do have a new head coach, Isaiah Pace, in his first season. So it's been a struggle for Eureka to kind of click and work as a team. A lot of new players. Here is Alyssa Taylor with the basketball, but they're doing everything they can to come together and cooperate. And Alyssa Taylor has really led the way for this Red Devils team. The only senior for Eureka, might I add. Red Devils only 9 points. Here's Bowman in the right wing, kicks it out to Miracle Armstrong. Armstrong guarded by Chloe White. White also a senior, and that is going to be another shot clock violation against the Eureka Red Devils, so that'll be their 22nd turnover in this ball game. Here is Madison Johnson inbounding it for the Bearcats, and it'll be Emma Slings taking it up the floor. Again, just another one of these things Red Devils have really struggled with just in this game is controlling the basketball. Obviously not their best game when it comes to ball control. Here's Armstrong shifting right. Thought about going for the shot, behind the back pass to Reich. Top of the key is Abigail Martinez. Here's Raylan Brown, triple, too strong. Offensive board by Armstrong, putting it up and good. Red Devils finally find a spark of hope on one of their offensive drives. That'll put them into double digits. They now have 11 points in this ball game. Still down by quite a lot. Here is a triple, and that is short from Tessa Crawford. Armstrong taking away the rebound, pushing the pace up to the rim. Right hand off the glass, no good. Gets her own offensive board. Red Devils should reset here. Reich, top of the key. Stopping her feet, putting up the triple, and it hits to the left of the rim. Probably could have taken a few more extra seconds on that drive. They had 17 on the shot clock, but Reich is typically a pretty solid three-point shooter. So when she sees something that looks good, she's going to take that shot. Here's Abigail Martinez for Eureka. Brown in the corner, left wing, kicks it out, top of the key to Reich. Back to Martinez, 13 on the shot clock. Chloe White guarding Martinez, kicks it out. Brown finds some space, loses it, and it's taken away by Crawford. Fast break opportunity into the paint, stops her feet, nearly a travel, put up by Slings, and it falls through the net. 58-11, and you might have been able to hear it through the headset, but energy is what Isaiah Pace the head coach for Eureka just said, and that's something Eureka really needs right now. They don't have a lot of energy. And again, we talk so much. There's a good move by Brooklyn Bowman, fighting through two defenders and somehow finding an open lane. So 13 points now for Eureka. But back to the energy thing. Of course, you take into perspective the mindset of these Red Devil players. Not a lot of numbers on your roster, and also coming in on the road to face a Division II school, one that has more wins than losses. It's not the easiest thing in the world. So maybe the mindset isn't there right now for the Red Devils, but even so, energy is something that they're going to need to display a little bit more. Again, going and talking once again about Alyssa Taylor and Sierra Garcia-Reich, the only returning players for Eureka who actually saw the court last season. It's another one of those things I've talked about with Alyssa Taylor. I asked her, how has that experience shaped your role on this year's team? And she said it has formed her into a leader, and she has been trying to help everybody come together as a team. And one of the things that she's been stressing is that as a leader, she needs to help prepare the newcomers for what the SLIAC conference consists of. And I feel like Taylor has done just that. Here's a triple from Brown short. She is getting closer to connecting on those triples. Brown has taken a few attempts. Here's a pass from Tessa Crawford way over the head of the intended teammate, being foul. So it's a turnover against McKendree. They lead it 62-13, just under 5.5 left to go in quarter number 3. And it will be Red Devils basketball. Miracle Armstrong, again, taking it up the floor. Armstrong this season averaging 36.4 minutes per game, 10.7 points per game. The triple from Martinez, no good. Reich offensive board, missing on the mid-range jumper. And the Bearcats will take it away. Chloe White up the floor. Finds JC Privia, top of the key. White, open triple, and no good. Off the front of the rim, loose ball, taken away by File. She is triple teamed, passing all the way over to Privia. Here's White, left wing, bounce pass, Fohe. Top of the key now. Fohe in the paint, correct. Fohe in the paint, and she tried to put up the shot. It hit underneath the basket. So no good, and it looks like there's going to be a timeout taken. So 4:39 left to go in this third quarter. We are going to take a break as well. Bearcats 62, Red Devils 13. Stay tuned for upcoming coverage right here on EC 103.1.
Hannah complained of a headache. It was a rhabdomyosarcoma. The tumor was very aggressive, and it very quickly became clear that St. Jude was the ultimate place to be. St. Jude is an asset to the world. I think it's the kind of place that could teach the world a couple of lessons about how to treat people. If those lessons could be learned, this world could be a better place.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at St. Jude.
We return into the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth for the remaining 4.5 minutes in this third quarter. Bearcats continue to lead Eureka 62-13, but the Red Devils have began to find an offensive spark. They've started to chip away a little bit at the scoring column. A large part of that has been Alyssa Taylor being able to really lead this team. There was a foul, I believe, against Eureka. So as soon as they return on the court, it's going to be Taylor Fohe shooting for some free throws. Eureka College basketball is made possible by Heartland Bank and Trust, serving 48 communities throughout Illinois and eastern Iowa, including Washington, Metamora, El Paso, Germantown Hills, Carlock, and in Eureka. Their main branch is on Main Street downtown, and their drive-up and ATM is nearby on Center Street. You can find Heartland Bank and Trust anywhere at htmbank.com. So there's Fohey knocking down that second attempt, 64-13, Bearcats on top. It'll be Reich to inbound, again back over to Alyssa Taylor. Taylor, who has 5 points in this ballgame, the mid-range and then the triple, as we discussed earlier. Bounce pass to Reich in the paint. Kicks it out to Taylor. Here's a triple from Armstrong, and that is way off the margin, and that's actually going to go out of bounds against Taylor Fohey. It'll stick with Eureka. Maybe Courtney Hart getting away with the call there, looking to her bench and smiling, so maybe she got away with one there, but it'll be Abigail Martinez to inbound. Red Devils will have 20 on the shot clock. Deep pass to Armstrong. Right wing, she's going to shift up to the center of the court. Here's Reich stopping her feet. Bounce pass, Martinez with the mid-range shot, no good, and it's taken away by Morgan File, pushing the pace, realizing she has to reset. And there is going to be a stoppage. Looks like a foul against Eureka. So 4:05 left to go in this third quarter. Bearcats 64, Red Devils 13. You're listening to EC 103.1, live from the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth. Matthew Swan on the call. Bearcats pick things up where they left off. Good backdoor cut, left hand from Tessa Crawford. Shot no good, but the Bearcats do pick up the offensive board, and there is going to be another foul, I believe, against Eureka. So Crawford will inbound. Tessa Crawford for McKendree in this ballgame. 4 points. She is averaging 9.3 points per game, so just a little bit under that margin. Loose ball. Another offensive board by McKendree, and another foul against Eureka. This time it'll be Sierra Garcia-Reich. 3:40 left to play in this third quarter. You know, another player that we did talk to was Sierra Garcia-Reich. Obviously, the Red Devils not having this season that they hoped for. And I was able to talk to Reich a little bit and ask her, you know, how do you stay motivated personally and keep your teammates focused during a negative stretch like this? And she responded with praying for sure, trusting in Jesus during the process. After knowing that Coach Hedrick was leaving last year, she and her other teammates had to take a leap of faith and let God handle everything. And that is what Sierra Garcia-Reich has been doing all season, and it really shows up on the court. Mid-range from Martinez, no good. And goes out of bounds. Clock stopping just over 3 minutes. Bearcats 66, Red Devils 13. And it'll be, again, taking it up the floor, McKendree. Here's File in the paint, putting it up with the right hand and getting some help with the rim. 68 points for McKendree, and for File, she is now up to 6. Here's Taylor, bounce pass. Hart with a good look, putting it up, and good. Courtney Hart adding to the scoring column. That'll be her second bucket of the night. Red Devils 15 points. They're really starting to find that offense that they've been looking for all game. File responds with another 2. That'll put 70 points on the board for the Bearcats. Armstrong will reset. Here's Alyssa Taylor. Thought about the triple. Pump fake, pushes, kicks it out to Martinez. Loose ball. I'm surprised there was no foul call as Martinez hit the floor. Here's Privia up to the rim. Right hand, no good, and that is a late foul call. So she will get sent to the line. Eureka College basketball is made possible by Randy Begole, a State Farm agent in Peoria. Randy graduated from Eureka in 1994. He played basketball and tennis and was also a member of the Teak fraternity. Randy has been serving State Farm customers since 2001. His office is located at the corner of Knoxville and Forest Hill in Peoria. You can also reach him at 309-322-8150 or at randybegole.com. That's Randy, Begole.com. So Privia only able to make 1 out of the 2 free throw attempts on that possession. 71-15, Bearcats lead it. Again, full court press shown from Hannah Fenton. Here's a triple. Raylan Brown, and she connects for three. We were talking about it. She was getting closer and closer each shot she has taken. She was 0 for 4 from behind the arc up until this point. She's now 1 for 5. Good defense from Eureka. A lot of offensive boards for the Bearcats, but unable to do much. Here is a triple from Corson, deflecting in and out, and the Red Devils do come up with it. Reich with the rebound. 71-18. And I'm surprised again, Miracle Armstrong getting called for the travel. I thought maybe Olivia Corson stuck a hand and should have gotten called for the foul. Instead, it'll be a Eureka turnover. Here's Fenton, top of the key. Kicking it out to File. File, 360, right hand, good off the glass. 73 points for the Bearcats. And for File, she's now up to 10. Armstrong deep pass picked off by File. It'll be a fast break opportunity for McKendree. And File now 12 points. So she's able to score on back-to-back possessions. Under a minute left to go in this third quarter. Eureka with the basketball stripped away. Again, File pushing the pace up at the rim. Good. 3 consecutive possessions. She's now up to 14. And let me just say, Morgan File, only a freshman this season, out of Chicago, Illinois, averaging only 5.7 a game. She already has 14. Fenton bounce pass File, kicks it out into the hands of Johnson. Top of the key triple from Corson, spins in and out. Offensive board from File, and she's going to be blocked by Raylan Brown. A good defensive stop there by Eureka. That'll stop the clock at 5.4 seconds in this third quarter. Alyssa Taylor will be subbed out. 5 seconds on the clock for the Bearcats. Into the hands of Fenton, going up for the triple, and no good. That'll end quarter number 3. Bearcats 77, Red Devils 18. So Eureka starting to find their offensive spark, but that's all we have for this third quarter. Stay tuned for the remaining 10 minutes of this ball game. You're listening to EC 103.1 live from the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth.
Eureka College basketball is made possible by Metamora Kirby Foods. They are 100% employee owned, with a deli, produce section, and meat department with its own in-house butcher. Metamora Kirby Foods is open from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m., 7 days a week. They are located on West Mount Vernon Street in Metamora. Get more information at kirbyfoods.com.
Eureka College basketball is made possible by Randy Begole, a State Farm agent in Peoria. Randy graduated from Eureka College in 1994. He played basketball and tennis and was also a member of the TKE fraternity. Randy has been serving State Farm customers since 2001. His office is located at the corner of Knoxville and Forest Hill in Peoria. You can reach him at 309-322-8150 or at randybegole.com. That's Randy, BEGOLE.com.
We return to the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth. You're listening to EC 103.1. Matthew Swan on the call as we get ready for the fourth and final quarter between the Eureka Red Devils and the McKendree Bearcats. Bearcats 77, Eureka 18. Red Devils have really struggled in the opening quarter, but they've since then been able to really find and pull their weight. They'll start with the basketball. Miracle Armstrong will kick things off into the hands of Kenna Newton, who's back into the game, and an immediate steal by the Bearcats. Fenton in the paint, and she will right away use that right hand for 2 points. Immediately transitioning into the full court press against Miracle Armstrong. She finds some space. She's going to have to dribble out. Armstrong, top of the key. Leaping pass. Here's a deep 2 from Brown. No good. Hart with the offensive board. No good, but she is going to get fouled and will be sent to the line. Eureka College basketball is made possible by Metamora Kirby Foods. They are 100% employee-owned with a deli, produce section, and meat department with its own in-house butcher. Metamora Kirby Foods is open from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. 7 days a week. They are located on West Mount Vernon Street in Metamora. Get more information at kirbyfoods.com. So Courtney Hart going 0 for 2 from the free throw line on that possession. Red Devils still 19 points. It'll be Madison Johnson with the basketball. Here's Fenton, left wing. Back to Johnson in the left corner. Now into the hands of Privia. Kicked out. Here's File. Triple knocked down. Left corner, and Morgan File is just on fire. 17 points tonight. And that is actually her first triple of the night. All of her other points have been two-pointers. There's a kick ball against Corson. That'll stop the clock at 8:46. So it'll be Miracle Armstrong here to inbound. Over to Raylan Brown. 19 on the shot clock. Brown wanted the triple, instead pushes forward. Looks for the backdoor cut from Reich. Unable to find it. Brown over to Newton. Newton with the triple. Good! Kenna Newton breaking into the scorers column here for Eureka. Her first few points of the night. Newton for the Red Devils, also a freshman. One of the, I believe, for Eureka, one of the 3 freshmen that they have. Here's another left corner triple from Morgan File, and she is unstoppable right now. 20 points for Morgan File. That is rare. You do not usually see that at this level. Courtney Hart in the paint. Great move, and able to use her size against File. And there's the too small sign from Abigail Martinez on this Eureka bench. Here's a triple from Corson, too strong. Loose ball taken away by File, who seems to be everywhere on the floor. She's in that left corner again, wanted the ball, does not get it. It'll be knocked out of bounds and stick with the Bearcats. Just under 7.5 left to go. Bearcats 85, Eureka 24. Red Devils trail by 61 points. Here's a triple from Privia, no good, a little wide left. Isaiah Pace telling his team to push the pace. Here's Armstrong, nearly losing it. She's double teamed, looking for some space, and it's going to be taken away by the Bearcats. JC Privia, good move. Here's Fenton. Over to Corson now. In the paint, putting it up with the right hand, and good. Armstrong now into the corner. Here's Reich. Triple, good. Sierra Garcia Reich finally getting into the scoring column as well. We mentioned it earlier, the Red Devils really breaking free here offensively, and in return, Olivia Corson connects for a three-pointer as well. And that has been the storyline of tonight's ballgame. Every chance at something positive Eureka has had, McKendree has been able to respond in the very next possession. Raylan Brown deep 2, using the glass, no good. It's going to be taken away by Privia, and the Bearcats will slow down the pace of this ballgame. Just over 6 minutes left to go. Here's Fohe in the paint, spinning around, no good. Another offensive board. That one stripped away by Courtney Hart. Loose ball, fighting for it. And a jump ball is the signal. I believe Miracle Armstrong came up with it, but it looks like it's gonna stick with the Bearcats, I believe. Sierra Garcia Reich also thought Eureka might have taken that one away. Instead, it'll be Olivia Corson to inbound. 90-27, Bearcats lead it. Corson. Bounce pass to Fohe, kicks it back out to Corson. 7 on the shot clock. Corson shifting right. They don't realize how much time is on the shot clock, and it'll be a shot clock violation against the McKendree Bearcats. That'll be their 12th turnover of the night. speaking of turnovers, that has been Eureka's biggest struggle. They have 29 turnovers through 3.5 quarters. Here's Oliver trying to put it up. Newton, no good. She was blocked by Taylor Fohe. And it'll go out of bounds against Eureka. So Madison Johnson will inbound to J.C. Privia. Just under 5.5 left to go. Again, you're listening to EC 103.1 live from the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth. Matthew Swan on the call. Triple no good from Olivia Corson. Armstrong shifting right behind the back. Open lane. Right hand, no good. Fight for the ball. Armstrong in the huddle. She's been all over the floor as well. Just like Morgan File for the Bearcats. But for now, Corson will be subbed out. And we once again see the freshman, Kylie Moeller, coming back into this ball game. Red Devils will inbound. Armstrong looking for Newton. Right wing, 15 on the shot clock. Newton in trouble. That one's going to be taken away as Sparks able to get her hand in there. And she knocks down the layup. 92 points now for the Bearcats. Raylan Brown, that pass was deflected by Sparks, but it shifts over to Armstrong. Newton again, right wing, kicks it back out. Now Brown goes for the deep triple and connects for three, her second triple of the night. Really heating up from behind the arc. 92-30, Red Devils. A lot of positive signs in this second half. Here's a good move from Madison Johnson, but unable to knock down the basket. And there was some pushing and shoving between, I believe that was Johnson, along with Denisha Oliver. And it looks like there is going to be a timeout here, so clock will stop at 4 minutes, 20 seconds. But we're going to keep things here. You know, it hasn't been the best game for Eureka. They were struggling really early, especially in that first quarter, but ever since then they've started to break free offensively. 30 points. You know, you take a look at the box score. Red Devils only scored 2 points in the first quarter on account of Miracle Armstrong. And then in the second quarter, they increased that number to 7. Third quarter, they increased that number to 9. And here in the fourth quarter, with still over 4 minutes to go, they already have 12 points. So, you know, let's play a fifth quarter. Let's play a sixth quarter. Let's see how many points Eureka can keep scoring. It seems like the more they play, the better they get. And for McKendree, it's a little opposite. The first quarter, they had 27. They picked it up to 29 in the second quarter. But in the third quarter, they dropped to 21. And that was also when we saw Eureka's defense really heat up as well. They had a couple of blocks. Courtney Hart, who has been a very strong interior presence for the Red Devils, has played a big part in collecting those blocks. 15 points for the Bearcats in this fourth quarter up to this point. But it looks like both teams ready to get things going again. 4:20 left to play in this ball game. Bearcats 92, Red Devils 30. So they trail by 62 points. This game obviously has been out of hand since the very first quarter, but the Red Devils, like I said, are seeing signs of growth, which is always good. It'll be the Bearcats to kick things off with the basketball. J.C. Privia, right wing, guarded by Armstrong. Passes over to Fohe, and it's actually taken away by Raylan Brown. Good stop and deflection by Armstrong, who takes it up the floor. Using that Oliver screen, now finds Brown. Brown shifting left. Another triple, just off target. She's been really good in this fourth quarter from behind the arc. 2 triples in this game. There's some aggression from Kenna Newton. That'll force a jump ball, but it is going to go in favor of the Bearcats. So J.C. Privia taking it up the floor. Under 4 minutes left to go in this ballgame. Privia guarded by Armstrong. Same situation, kicks it out to Fohe, going up for the triple. No good. The Bearcats bench really wanted her to knock that down. Here's Armstrong. Triple team kicks it out. Here's a three. No good from Reich. Thought she had a chance there, but we do have a foul, so clock will stop at 3:27. It'll be Bearcats basketball. And it looks like another substitution for the Bearcats as Morgan File comes in for Madison Johnson. So one guard replacing the other. Here is Privia again up the floor. Privia averaging 12 minutes per game. Kicks it out to File. Here's a triple from Moeller. No good. Offensive board and blocked by Reich. Able to keep it in bounds. There's that defense from Eureka that I just said was really starting to appear more often as we progress into this ball game. Armstrong triple. Too strong. So Red Devils getting a little more comfortable down on the floor, and it shows. Privia again up the floor. Good pass to Fohe. No good on the 360 in the paint. Oliver, though, coming up with it for Eureka. Here's Armstrong again. Red Devils taking instruction from head coach Isaiah Pace. Here's a deep three from Brown, and she gets it to fall. Her third triple of the night. And there's that confidence. It seems like every three she takes, she gets farther and farther. Bounce pass to Fohe in the paint. Here's File. She's been heating up recently as well. Oliver will have to keep an eye on her. Kicking it out. Here's Moeller. Right wing. 10 on the shot clock. Here's a corner triple from the right wing. Sparks not able to connect. Privia bounce pass. Fohe kicks it out. Here's File with a triple and good. Too much spacing for Morgan File. She just continues to add on to her point total. 23 points in this ball game. 2 triples for her tonight. Here's a mid-range from Brown, and she gets it to connect. Raylan Brown, and there's the head nod from head coach Isaiah Pace. That's what you want to see as a player. You want to see your coach giving you that head nod, and I'm sure that's a good feeling. File over to Moeller. 18 on the shot clock. Moeller taking it herself to the rim and getting fouled. So she'll get sent to the line. 1:17 left to go in this ball game. Bearcats 95. Eureka 35. So she's able to knock down the first attempt there. Again, Moeller this season, 16.9 minutes per game, 4.9 points per game. And for Moeller here in this one, she already has 6 points. 1:17 left to go. She's able to knock down both free throws. Red Devils with the basketball. Raylan Brown. Long pass over to Abigail Martinez, who's back in the game. Left-hand pass, that's going to be taken away by File. Privia up the floor. Bearcats resetting here. Fenton back to Privia, who going for the triple, no good. Loose ball taken away by Reich. And she's going to have to slow things down. Eureka does not have numbers right now. Oliver to Martinez. Open three. That's going to be wide left as the triple was right in front of the scores table. Privia again up the floor. Fenton taking her time. Privia bounce pass. Fohe in the paint. Ball stripped. And it's going to be obtained by the Bearcats. Here's File pushing the pace. Kicking it out. Sparks. Triple. Too strong to the left. 20 seconds left to go in this ball game. Red Devils could just hold on to it. But of course they're going to go up for one more shot. Abigail Martinez, right wing. 10 seconds on the game clock. Shifting left. Bounce pass, good cut by Reich, putting it up and good. And there's the backdoor cut that Reich was looking for earlier. 4.4 seconds left to go. And it's going to be Privia who just holds on to it. And that will conclude this ball game. So Bearcats do come up with the win, 97-37. The Division II school going up against the Division III school. Overall, a fairly good game between both sides. Of course, it has been pretty one-sided. The Bearcats led from the very first quarter, never gave that lead up. But of course, for Eureka, they began to progress offensively as they got further into this ball game. For McKendree, it has been Morgan File leading the team offensively, 23 points. She shot 3 for 5 from the field. Had a couple of chances actually 3 chances at knocking down the triple as well. But for Eureka, it has been Raylan Brown leading the team with 11 points. She really started to heat up from behind the arc as well. And as mentioned, that will wrap up tonight's ball game. Again, final score, McKendree 97, Eureka 37. So Eureka will fall to 0-8 overall on the season. Well, actually, no, they'll stay at 0-7. This was an exhibition game. But anyways, like I said, that'll wrap things up here on our side of things. Our next broadcast of Eureka College basketball will be on Thursday, December 18th, when Eureka hosts Cornell College. You can watch that broadcast on our sister station, ECTV. Coverage will begin at 2 p.m. live from the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth. Eureka College basketball is made possible by City Blue Technologies, a leading Epson dealer serving Central Illinois. Potter Rentals of Gilman, Illinois, owned and operated by Ernie and Barb Potter, both Eureka College class 1965. Heartland Bank and Trust, Randy B. Goal, your State Farm agent in Peoria, Eureka College class of 1994, and by Kirby Foods in Metamora. The executive producer of Eureka College basketball is Dr. John Malone. Tonight's studio operator was also Dr. John Malone. On behalf of my broadcast crew, this is Matthew Swan. Thank you for listening.